Hi, everyone. Dan here with John Schrader on the Designer Show. John and I were just having a little chat. I was rushing to get things going here. I was looking for a file for our show. I couldn't find it. Speaking of finding things. Anyway, John, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. So where are you at, Dan?
I'm at Lake of the Isles. This is on a bike path that I always stop and take pictures at. It's just because I kind of take this route a lot. I ride bike a lot, so I take this route as much as I can and stop here and I just take a panorama. And one of these days I'm going to put together a little, what do you call that, where you take a whole bunch of pictures and then I can kind of compare the weather days. Yeah. The weather is different all the time. Anyway, it's just something stupid I do. And how about you? Where are you?
I'm at the mansion we stay at in Arizona. This is my missing getting together with everybody photo.
That's actually Vegas, dude. That's the one in Vegas.
Yep, it's the one in Vegas.
Yeah, not Arizona.
That's right. Yep.
I don't think we've done one in Arizona, have we?
No,
maybe we have.
I always go to Arizona after Vegas, so that's why I
got it.
Arizona in there.
But anyway, welcome everyone, and hope you guys are doing great. John, nice to hear from you. John, hope you're doing well. James, I have a revision to a plan or layout. Do I rename them? How do I do that? Okay, we'll take a look at that kind of stuff. So I'll give you little tips on what I've been doing for years and years. And John, you can throw in anything that you might have too, your 2 cents or 3 cents or whatever you got. So is everyone else having issues watching due to the video is restricted? Boy, I hope, Nick, that your video is not restricted. I hope we're not restricted. I think we've been good, boys.
Did you say something that would have
teed off? No. Everybody else seeing the video? Okay. All right. We'll just keep moving forward, assuming that it's all good. Hey, Philip, can't see the video. Uh-oh. Hello, John. Can anyone else see the video? Oh, no. I think. You guys seeing us or not? Can you hear us?
Looks like they can hear us.
Here, let me just open it real quick. 1 second. The joy of technology.
Video working fine for Curtis.
Pardon me? He says it's okay?
It's working fine for him.
All right, let me just hear video on YouTube real quick on a different screen.
Jeffrey says he can see.
Okay. Yep, I see it fine on YouTube. So it looks to be okay. All right, let's just keep moving. All right, you guys. Sorry for this goofy introduction. All right, John, let's move forward with the topic that we wanted to cover today. And let me turn that off. Is organization, how to find stuff or how to not lose stuff. And as we work with things all day long, we tend to get a lot of information stored on our computers. And it really is something now that can really pile up. I'm going to get this over to a different screen so I can start showing you some stuff. All right, so you're seeing my screen. All right, we'll talk about Dropbox in a little bit. But one of the big things that one of the things I get asked quite often is file management. How do you keep track of stuff? And sometimes I'll log on to a meeting with someone and their desktop is just full of hundreds of icons. And that's not necessarily the best file management system you want to use. So let's just talk about that a little bit and how you and I file things away. So I use a program called Dropbox to do a lot. That's where I store all of the things that I'm working on over the last, I've got my photos in there for the last, since early 90s. And I keep my plans for a few years, and then I take and archive those to a different drive in a few different spots. And I also archive them on a service called S3, which is not Google, but Amazon S3 allows you you can store terabytes of stuff for pen. It's really quite amazing. I need to dig in that a little bit more too. I haven't been into the S3 system for a while. That's where I would store all my files for the video I did in the early years of doing this online stuff. Now I do it through a program called Kajabi. But regardless, we're all packing in lots of files. And, you can see I have lots of different things here. But this is my Dropbox, okay? So let's talk about Dropbox for 1 second. I guess I do want to talk about that right now. What is Dropbox? How many guys here are using Dropbox? I'd be curious to know if you're using it. It seems like whenever I get on a call with someone, they're using Dropbox. John, you've probably found the same.
Yep.
But let's just talk a little bit about what it is, because I think a lot of people use it and maybe they don't quite get what it is. So let's basically, when you use Dropbox, what you're doing, you're renting some hard drive space online. So here's my Dropbox, okay? So I'm renting this little bit of hard drive space on some server somewhere. It's not in the cloud. It's in some building, or it's probably in a bunch of buildings, because the data is stored in what's called redundancy or redundant. I think where it's actually copies that on different places, I believe. I don't know anything about all the techie stuff. Well, anyway, so whenever I'm working on something, so I might be working on my desktop here, and I've got a folder in my Dropbox. Okay, and when I save something in that folder, it automatically gets stored online. Plus, it's on my hard drive on my computer too. So right now it's in 2 spots. But now I've also got my Dropbox on my laptop. So then what happens is that same file gets downloaded to my Dropbox folder on my laptop. And if I have it on another desktop, it gets stored on that hard drive as well. So it gets downloaded to that. Okay, so you can see, so wherever I'm from, and I can also go view files from my phone. Doesn't matter. I use Android, so, but iPhone, Android, whatever. So anyway, so I've got I got copies of that everywhere I am. So whenever if I work here and then I go work on my laptop somewhere else, I've got the files are all current. So it's really easy how that works. Now, so John and I are now working on a project together, and John has his Dropbox account just like me, where he's renting some hard space. And by the way, this is for all cloud services. John, do you use anything besides Dropbox?
I don't. I used OneDrive for a little while, and it threw up on me, and I quit using it.
Yeah, if you have the Office 365, OneDrive is the soft storage place, and you get a terabyte with each account. So if you have Office 365, which is all of the Microsoft apps, you get a terabyte of drive of storage space in the cloud for each of the 5 accounts you get for your subscription. Mm-hmm. So you can install the software on 5 computers, kind of like Chief if you had 5 licenses. But I think what is it, $109 a year for 5 licenses, and
right.
You get that gives you 5
and all that stuff with it.
Yeah, that gives you 5 terabytes of storage. So it's really a good deal. And I do store some things on there, mostly when I'm working with clients, and that's what they use. I'll use that too.
The issue I had was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. So, but other people were having the same issue at that time. So
okay. And then we have. Okay,
second.
Go ahead.
Do you have something else going on your computer you could shut down for the internet? Because I'm getting a low bandwidth coming through.
Okay, let me just shut down everything.
It might be on my end, but I don't think so. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else open. Let me close this. Close this. Amazing how you can get so many things open all at once. Yeah. No, I don't have anything going on here. So. Okay. And I did reboot my computer right before this. Okay. All right. Anyway, so John is. Let's go back to so Google Drive is kind of the same thing, but Google Drive you do have to pay to get more storage. Remind me to talk about Google Photos a little bit too, because that's really a cool service that people might want to consider if you're not already doing it. So anyway, so John is working on your deal, and John and I say, well, Dan, let's work on this plan together. So what happens is John shares a folder with me, or vice versa. And now what happens is my Dropbox here sends a copy over here. All right. And then that sends it to my devices that I've told it to send it to. And so then if I work on John's plan, it sends it to his account, downloads it to his computers. And basically that could be an unlimited deal. So you could have as many people. So 4 of us could be working on the same thing. The only thing you have to be careful of is if you open the file at the same time. You don't want to do that. But that's the online storage. So let me just spend a few minutes to show you a couple of things about Dropbox that you may or may not be aware of. So first of all, the first thing you want to do, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of this. So when you get a Dropbox account, you'll log on, and what you'll want to do with that Dropbox account, let me just do that. Let me log into Dropbox. So I'll go to dropbox.com. Now there's 2 ways to get Dropbox. You could just go to dropbox.com, or I could just go to my file manager, and this is after you've got the app installed. I could just go here and I could go to my Dropbox account, and you'll have a little icon like this that I could just click on that, or click on any of the folders in here and then just view online. Just go, when I right click on that, I could go to open in Dropbox. So when you click on any of the items in the Dropbox app, you can go view them online. All right, do that again. Right click. All right, let's go. Let's just click on Dropbox and open in Dropbox, and that'll open up your Dropbox account. All right, I've got too many things going on here. Come on. Where did it? Oh, here it is.
So
No, actually,
I always go to that spot and open it on my computer from there.
Yeah, that's what. There's different ways to get into Dropbox. So you could do it by right-clicking on the folder and open in Dropbox. View on Dropbox.com is another way to do it. So that would take you to the website. This is actually where this is their hard drive now, where you're looking at the information online. So this is your Dropbox account. But what I want to show you here is once you get a Dropbox account, if you haven't done this, you'll see a little circle up here in this upper right-hand corner. And what you'll want to do is click on that circle. Okay, what's going on? There we go. Click on that circle, and you'll see a little link down here to install the Dropbox app. So it's just a little piece of software that's going to put Dropbox on your computer and give you a file storage place on your computer. I've had guys that have used Dropbox on the cloud. You can't use just the cloud to store your Chief Architect files. You do have to have it loaded on your desktop.
When you're working on it.
When you're working on it. Yeah, you can store your files online, but you have to have them on. You have to have the app in the file on your computer to work on the file. Because what happens if Chief puts so many things into the memory of your computer, if it's on the cloud, it can't swap that information back and forth all the time. It has to do it on your local machine. So that's just something that you have to do. So anyway, load the app on your computer. You'll then have a Dropbox icon in your folders. And again, this is Windows. I'm a Windows guy. If you guys are using Mac, it's a little bit different. You'll have your Finder and all of that stuff. But it's basically the same concept, I believe. All right. So anyway, you want to install that app. Once you have the app, you can right-click on anything, and you'll get these options: share, send, to transfer. Okay. So whenever you want to work with someone on a file, you share it. If you're just using it for yourself and you have Dropbox on different computers, you don't have to share it. It's automatically shared. All right. And then the other thing,
send with transfer works good for large JPEGs or even just a file.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can send. Yeah, exactly. So if you have a big file you can't email, you could use that. I tend to use WeTransfer.com, but either one of them work fine. You can copy the link and send people the link to the file, just giving them a one-time download or access to the actual Dropbox. You can view it on Dropbox Online, open it in the Dropbox app on your computer, and you can also do a Smart Sync, which I think is Smart Dropbox versions of backup, isn't it?
Smart, yeah. I think that in the Dropbox is the default. The Smart Sync, what it does is it lets you decide whether you want to save it on your computer, on Dropbox and your computer, or just on Dropbox.
Yeah. Well, let's look at that for a second. So one of the things that you'll notice on your computer is in the bottom right corner of your screen, and I have this bar on the other screen, my other screen that I'm not showing right now. You'll see this little thing, and you'll either see the Dropbox icon right here, or you'll notice it under this arrow icon when you have that whole box full of all the little devices that are running. You want to look for the Dropbox icon. And then what you want to do is click on that, and that will open up this menu. All right. So you'll be able to see which files are coming and going and all of that stuff going on. And what you want to do once you click on that little icon in the bottom corner is click on the little circle up here. And I've uploaded my little icon there. You don't have to do that. It'll just be a circle. You could put your picture on there if you want. What you want to do is click on preferences. Okay. Click on the circle and click on preferences. This is like Chief's preferences. We're going to set up the software how we want it to work. And then once you set up preferences, you could kind of go through these different things. There's actually tons of videos out there you could watch. But the main thing I like to show is syncing. All right. When you hit the sync, what you could do is, because I have a 1 terabyte. No, I forget what. No, I have a 500 gigabyte solid state C drive. I can't put all my Dropbox folders on that because I have 1.2 terabytes, 1.3 terabytes. So what I do is I change where the Dropbox is going to be stored. So so under sync, you're going to go to Dropbox folder location, and you can tell which drive you want your Dropbox to be on. So I have mine on my D drive, which is the 8 terabyte hard drive, which plenty of room to keep all my files. Okay. And the other thing you can do on my laptop, I only have a 500 gig hard drive, solid state. Actually, I know we don't. We have two terabytes, don't we, John? By the way, I was looking at the video card the other day. We do have the RTX video cards on those laptops.
We do?
So, yep, we should be good. Yeah, we got the RTX 2070s, so we'll be good to go for X13. Select which folders sync. So you can select which items you want to sync to your laptop or any other computer where you don't have enough hard drive space. So those two things are really nice to be aware of. And it's, again, you click on the circle, click on sync, and it's those icons right there. And that's really kind of the bottom line of some of the things that you want to take a look at with Dropbox. And that's
sync is where you have to go to make a file. Just go to the Dropbox or go to both.
Well, let me show you here. I'll bring it up real quick, see if I can pull that over. Preferences. So if I go to sync and selective, so now if I go to selective sync here, that's going to open up this, and now I can uncheck the items I don't want to have on this machine.
Right.
Okay. Everything will still be online. Everything will still be on one of my other machines. But on this particular machine, maybe I don't want to put all of my photos here, all of my, I can just turn things on. I can be selective, and I can even drill down to what things I want to be selective about Dropbox put on the computer that you're doing this on. So it's really a nice little feature. So that way you can keep, like if you do plans, you want to keep a folder that you're going to have your plans in. And again, as far as organizing those kinds of things, I do it by year. I mean, everybody's going to do a little different. I like to do mine by year. All right. So for 2020, which is almost over, I do it by year. I do it by client last name or company name. Okay. That's my way of doing it. I do last name, first name. And, I have clients that I do multiple things for. And then inside of those, I'll do, customer name for the client inside of there. So like for that one, let's find one that I've got some customers inside of there. So here he's got that, I've got 4 different projects I've worked on in that particular project. I just keep them all separate. So again, it's really simple. You just go to where you want to put them, right click, go to new and create a new folder. All right, new folder. So right click wherever you are. And I believe it's probably basically the same in Mac, in the Finder. I mean, file management is file management. Your computer is a place to keep things. And you want to organize it in such a way that you can find them. So again, it's, you can store things on your computer, but it's more important to be able to find them. So that's what you're looking to do here. So you're going to right click just anywhere in the white space, new folder, name that folder. Again, with a lot of things, when I'm working on a project, I'm going to name it with a date first. I know, John, you like to put the year first, but because I sort mine by year from the get-go, okay, I'm not so concerned about that.
Right.
All right, because I'm already working by the year here. So I just started with month, date, year.
Yep.
But if you want to keep it a little bit more organized, do year, month, day.
Right.
And
always use two digits for the month and the day.
Yes, 01, 02.
Yep.
That keeps everything organized in the way that you want to. So it really works well. So a good example might be this client here, where I've done a lot of work on a project. And what I like to do, and I do this a lot, is whenever I start the plan, let me go to a more current folder, 2020. Okay, Dropbox 2020. Let me go down to Mr. Metzlaw, and I guess I was in that one. Shoot it, here it is. So what I like to do is when I'm working on a plan, and you can click on these titles of the columns to sort by name, sort by date modified. So just like in Chief, where you can sort the layers. So sometimes I'll keep folders within the folders to organize things. Here I've got, back in January, February. So just kind of working through the year. So I put the date in front of almost everything. So when I'm looking at the plans, so I go to type, and I want to look for Chief plans. Now I'll scroll down here to where I get to, here's my layout files. And again, if I just look at the file name, I can pretty much pick out which is the most current one. I can also look at the date it was modified, but I like to do it like this with the date in the file name. And then again, when I go to my plan file, same thing. So if I want to go find the most recent plan I worked on, it's going to be right there. Yeah. All right. So you can go ahead.
What I do different there is, since we have several different people working on it, is what you do too. I'll have an archive folder underneath each job that all the plans that are past go into, and then there's only one plan out that's under working or just outside the folder that's the last plan that's been worked on.
Okay.
So I don't have a great big huge list to look at every time I open it.
Yeah. Again, I tend to save a lot. I do a lot of save as, file save as. Yep. So if I just worked on a plan a bunch, and now I'm going to start working on some new stuff. It's a new day. I mean, Chief is creating a backup for you in the archive folder, just so you guys know. If something ever happens, or you need to go find an older version of the file, go to your documents. And again, I'm not sure where it's stored on, well, it's probably stored in the same place on a Mac. But you go to the Chief Architect X current version that you're working on, and look for the archives folder. And in there, you'll have a ton of stuff. Okay, so if you work on a lot of plans, you can end up with a lot of stuff in your archives folder. Again, you can sort by date or name. But Chief makes a copy of your plan every day that you open it. Okay, so when I just opened up this house today, it made a copy of it for me, even though I didn't tell it to. It just does it. And here's one I did. It made a copy of the plan and the layout. I believe I have, no, it did. Oh, here's the autosave. And then, so I've got an autosave running on this particular plan.
So autosave is the one where it saves it every 5 minutes, or
yes. Yep. So when I open that plan, if the autosave is newer than the original file, it'll give you that message, say, hey, we found a plan that's newer. So that's where it keeps all of that stuff. So you can see it, you get to have a lot of information. You can delete all this stuff. If you're done with the plan, just go delete it. You don't need this anymore. It's just a copy of what you've already done. But if you crash, and this has happened, I've had clients that it's just like, poof, the plan was gone. Something, just turned to digital dust. And so they just went to the archive folder, bam, there it was. The most you could probably lose might be a day's worth of work, which is still, that'd be devastating, but that would be the most you could lose. Because yesterday it will have created a backup, but more than likely you'll have something that's about 5 minutes old, would be about the worst you'll lose. So I don't think I've ever run into one where someone's lost everything for a long time. Chief has always done that. Part of the reason Chief does that is because they know that people aren't necessarily really good at backing up their stuff. But over the years that they've developed this software, I'll never forget back in version 3 when they were adding roofs, and I had the chore of adding roofs to all these houses, these samples they had. It would crash every second or third move that I did something. So I was saving all the time. And, over the years, it was pretty unstable. So it crashed a lot. So Chief just developed this from early days of it crashing a lot, and they didn't want people to lose data. So, there's just a backup built into the software. One thing I want to point out, by the way, I just remembered this. So when it comes to your file management, you'll notice that when I click on something, you see it says the word plan, and it'll say the word layout after the name. Okay, see how it says .layout.plan? And that's a file. That's called the file extension. By default, that's not turned on in Windows. So what you have to do is click View. So go up here and click View. It's nice to see those because then you can instantly know what kind of file it is. So when you're up on View here, oops, let's do that again. And so you go to View, and what you want to do is turn this on. I always turn both of these on because you want to turn file name and extension on, and you want to turn hidden items on. Okay, so you're going to be in your file manager, and you're going to turn those things, just turn those check marks on, and they'll stay on then. Now you'll always see your file extensions. So you'll see the photo extensions, JPG, PNG, SKP. There's SKP, which is a, come on. All right, what's going on? I'm stuck. Escape key isn't working. Hello. Oh, there we go. Weird. So SKP, that's a SketchUp file. So now you'll be able to see all your extensions. It's just a little nicer to know what files you're looking at. So turn those things on. All right, so again, everything that goes for a project goes in one folder. I don't try to keep separate folders for estimates and plans and pictures. So if I have those things that go in one folder, I've seen a lot of clients that will create a folder. In that folder, they'll have like pictures and plans and separate folders for estimates, for correspondence. So just have all of these folders. And in a lot of cases, what a client will do is they'll have a template where they have a folder set up with all these blank folders in it. Maybe they already have some of the forms in there already that they use with every client. They just copy that, rename the main folder, and bam, away they go with the next project. Yeah, I've seen guys do that. I don't have a need for something like that, but I've seen a lot of people do that. So, all right. So, at the end of the year, what I'll do, when it turns to 2021, which is coming up in a blink, I'll create another folder called Plans 2021. And I put an 04 in front of it. So it kind of, you see how I put the 01 and 3, 4. So kind of in order that these files I use a lot. So I will keep those at the top of my list.
That's really good. Start doing that.
Yep. And then if you really want on the top of your list, put that little hashtag in front of it. What do they call that thing again? There's a name for that. It's next to the one key that keeps it at the top. And I'll create a 2021. What I might do is I will either copy or just move the folder for current projects that I'm working on. I generally, because I have 8 terabyte hard drives, I've got 2 of them on this computer. I just make a copy and leave the last year's stuff alone. Maybe I'll go delete some of the old stuff in it or not, but it depends. So I might have, half dozen jobs that I'm working on that I'll bring into 2021. Then after a while, then I can go back and archive some of these. Now, Dropbox recently went to a 2 terabyte deal, I believe. So if I go to Dropbox, if I go open this in Dropbox online, and I go to my account, no, it's not online. I got to go view on Dropbox.com. View on Dropbox.com. And that'll take you to your online account. And again, you can click here and it's going to tell you what kind of storage you have. So my account I have 1.15 used up of my 2 terabytes of storage. Okay, so I keep all my things I really want to be working on in that. Questions, John? Probably a lot of things been coming by and I haven't been watching it.
Yeah, toward the bottom, the Artful Kitchen says, if Dropbox is in the cloud, how is it taking up space on your computer? You might want to just touch that.
Okay. If Dropbox is in the cloud, remember, as I showed in that image, that graphic here, all right, when you download the app to your computer, you have your cloud account. So there's a little hard drive that you're putting stuff on. And when you put the app on your computer, Dropbox is going to download a copy of what it has online to your computer that you're working on, and vice versa. So when I put something on my computer, it puts it up to the Dropbox. So they are identical. The file size will be identical on your computer and in the cloud. So that's why it's taking up space. Now, again, as I showed you earlier, when you set your preferences to sync, you can do a selective sync and choose which folders to have on this particular computer. Then you'll have different file sizes. So again, in the selective sync, you can turn off the things you don't want to have backed up in both places. I mean, the Dropbox Online will always have all the files, but your computer might just have a partial list of those files, which again, I do on my laptop. So again, on my big drive, on my desktop, and wherever I have hard drive space, I keep both the same. On my laptop, I have fewer files on there. I did my selective sync there. Okay. What do we got else? I know there's been a lot of things coming through. I haven't been watching it.
Quick. Al says he's reluctant to use the cloud. Just a comment I have about that is I haven't had any trouble with using the cloud as far as privacy or anything that I've noticed. I'm sure it's there, but here's my concern. My concern is if we get so used to doing stuff in the cloud, and then all of a sudden, for a week, it's been knocked out or something like that. Now we're stuck. We got nothing to work on because everything that we've been working on is stored there.
But if you have it on your computer,
right? So that my point is, we don't want to have everything on the cloud. We want to have some stuff that we work on.
Don't depend solely on the cloud. Keep a hard copy on your computer as well.
It could be a fiber optics line that got cut somewhere or something like that.
Yeah.
Anything like that. So
yeah, of course, with you can usually get to things with your phone these days and do a hotspot and all of that good stuff. But there's always ways around it. But I want a hard drive. I want a hard copy on my computer and my cloud account. I have no problem with security these days. They're Dropbox is hyper secure. I've been using them for, gosh, however long they've been around. I've been using Dropbox. Probably, I used to use S3 all the time for all my big backups, but now I use Dropbox for my daily stuff and a lot of my backups as well. I don't know, they've been around a long time, but I've never, ever had a problem with them.
Yeah. So again, my thing would be, for lack of a better way to say it, keep a paper copy, which is on your own computer, and use the cloud to share back and forth. And
yeah, Philip says, consider Dropbox a backup. Right. And it is a backup. So if your computer goes down, you lose everything, it gets stolen, whatever, fire, all you got to do is open a new computer, set up your Dropbox account, and bam, Dropbox will download all of the files back to your computer.
Yep.
Piece of cake. Yeah. So when I'm ready to do a new computer, which I'll probably do in about a year, about every 3 years, I do a brand new computer. I put all brand new hard drives in. I keep my old hard drives as backups. I log into my Dropbox account. It downloads all my files for me. Plus, then I still have my other drives as backup as well. So I hang on to those. So it just works really well.
Yep. Dropbox is a good way to share back and forth.
Yeah. And the file must be downloaded on your computer to work on it, unless you're working on a cloud app, which I see Dropbox is now offering that service too, where you can work on Word docs and spreadsheets and things like that. Kind of like Google Docs. Google with everything on Google, the Google Docs, mm-hmm. You actually are working on files that are in the cloud. They're not on your hard drive, although you can put them on your hard drive, and I do that as well. So I have my Google Docs also on my D drive. So when I go back to my drives, all right, get out of here. So on my D drive, I also keep a folder of my Google Drive. My Google Drive folder is also the same as it is online here. Okay, so if I add something here, it gets added to my Google Drive. If I add something to Google Drive, it gets added here. And I don't remember how I did that. They used to have an app that did that for you. I think I had to tick a checkbox somewhere to do this. I just don't remember. What I did was I went to YouTube and said, how do I put a Google Drive on my computer? I did that quite a while ago, so I do not remember what I did, but you can do that. So keep your files organized that way. Mm-hmm. And then of course I have the OneDrive on my computer too, because as you can see, you just get a lot of stuff after a while. Yep. File management is a real challenge. It really is. I was just telling John before this, I was looking for a file. I do a lot of plot plans where I convert DWGs into Chief stuff. And I'll show you that in just a second, but I couldn't find some of the projects I was looking for. I do so damn many projects. You just they all become mush in your head. And I just forgot which ones were the ones I wanted to look for. So
that's why we were late. Why we were late.
Yeah, because I was busy trying to find something. So let's move on a little bit. File types, updating and organizing the libraries. How are we doing on time? Not so good.
So we got a couple of questions. Dropbox, does Dropbox replace a backup utility like iDrive?
It can.
Yeah.
It can. If you have, because I don't back up my C drive. My C drive is all my program files.
Right.
Okay. If I'm going to do a new computer or something crashes, I'm just going to reload all those programs. I don't back that up. I back up the data. I back up my data that I use on a regular basis, things that I don't want to lose, things that would hurt a lot if I lost them. If I lose Chief Architect program, that's easy. I just go re-download it. If I didn't have my libraries backed up on my Dropbox and I lost my C drive and I had not kept those, yeah, I would lose all my libraries too. And now I'd have to go re-download every single library. So I don't want to do that. Chiefs is up to what, 400 libraries now, and I haven't even downloaded the last half dozen of them that they've just put out. So yeah, Dropbox is a great backup for you. Yeah. There are other good backup services out there. I don't remember the name of some of them, but if you really concerned, go for it. Better to have too many backups than not enough. Yeah, you do not want to be losing your files.
Yep.
Dropbox been in business 13 years. So thanks, John. Yeah, I've probably been using it that long.
You got some more you want to cover, but I just want to make sure that we covered James's question from the beginning. He says, when I have a revision to a plan and or layout, do I rename them? If not, how do I revisit a plan or layout?
Yeah, you can, if I'm working on something, I've got a plan here. Let's say I'm working on, and I want to make some revisions, but I don't want to lose the plan that I have here. Maybe I want to try a different layout. So yeah, I'll do a save as. I'll still start it with today's date.
I just want to point out, before you do a save as, save your plan first. Otherwise, when you go open that plan again, it's going to say you have a newer version of this.
Yeah, good idea. So save your plan first, then do a save as. And then just rename it. Put again, I put today's date in front of it, 1203-2020, and just name it whatever you want now. Plot plan, revision number 2, revision number 3. Again, I like the date format. It just works so much nicer. All right. Let's see. We got a few down here. Windows naming limitations, 256 characters. Now, that doesn't, because if you bury folders and folders inside of folders and files, and pretty soon that name gets really long, and you need to, you might get an error message that it can't back it up or something like that. Is it still 256, Philip? It seemed like it's a lot longer now. Okay. You should bump into naming photos. I'm on a Mac. Again, the same idea. Dropbox can work on a Mac just fine. Same idea with naming conventions, separate folders. I know Mac has a Finder, so I still recommend you keep things in a job folder and keep everything inside of that. Again, I'm not a Mac guy, so I'm not really sure what you guys are dealing with. So there you go. All right, let's go into, what do we got here? Creating your own libraries. Let's just touch on that quickly, and then I want to get to this DWG thing here before we get too far. I got a couple things I want to talk about there real quick. John, we're good on the file management stuff. I know it took a little bit more than I was planning.
Looks like it. Nobody's asking more questions about it.
All right, good. So with your libraries, okay. With the core libraries, that's what they are. With Chief's downloads, they are what they are. Whatever you download and put in those libraries, they are going to be those. So what you do want to be sure you do with those is that you go in and update them every now and then. So you're going to go to libraries, and you're going to say update library catalogs, because Chief is continually adding and refining and updating their library catalogs. So make sure you go in and do this, okay? And so what I do is I keep, every time I download a new library, I throw it in my Dropbox folder, and I keep all of my libraries right here. Okay, so this is everything that I've downloaded from their website. So when you load a new library from their Chief Architect website, let me just do this real quick. Let me just go and go to Chief Art. Let me go to Chief here, and let's go to library, get additional content online. So I'm in the Chief program. That's going to open up their browser. You need to, okay, log into your account. All right, so you will have to have a current account to do this. Be aware up here, there's two little icons and two little things up here. Okay, so if you're doing this for the first time, you just go through this and download the libraries that you want. I basically have every library downloaded that they've done to date. Although I see they've got a whole bunch of new ones I need to go download. So what I always do is I go up here and I click on this little icon to hit sort, have it display in groups, little boxes like this. And then I go sort by date added. And you're going to have to click that twice. Don't ask me why, but you'll have to click it twice. So it says date added. Now I can look, here's the most current libraries that, these libraries were just added. All right. I've been watching these come through. I need to get in and download this. They're really kicking butt on adding libraries. They're doing a lot of stuff. So, I mean, heck, this is way worth the price of your SSA right here. Just all the libraries that they put up. So what I would do is I would hit the down arrow, and I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to click save that link as, then I'm going to put that in my folder where I'm storing all the libraries. And the reason I do this is because when, okay, bonus boho 2, I want you to notice that there's not a 1 in parentheses after that. All right. That means I don't have that file yet in my list. So I hit save. But if I go down and I click on one that I do have, let's go to, I probably have this one. And let's go save link as. And you'll notice now, since I already have that one, it put a 1 after it. Okay. Now I know I don't have to download that one. Okay. If I do, I'm just downloading a copy of it. Okay. So I'll cancel that. So if I forgot where I left off, I'll just keep downloading until I get to the next one that puts the 1 by it. And I go, oh, that's the last one I did. So that's what I do. I sort by date, and I just go through and keep downloading till I get the most current ones. Once you've downloaded all of those, and the reason I do this as well, and I'll hit date modified, what I'll do is I'll just take, and when I load Chief on a new computer, what I do is I put all these on a little USB drive, or I have my Dropbox on the new computer. And because I'm storing these in my Dropbox, all of those libraries will be there. Okay, yeah, they take up space, but it's not that big a deal. Actually, I think it's 9 terabytes now, or 9 gigabytes. It's a bunch. And so what I'll do then is I'll just take and I'll drag the most recent downloads. Okay, so here's the one I just downloaded. I'll drag, and you can group select a bunch of them. I don't do more than 50 at a time, though. So if you're going to do a bunch of them, don't select more than 50 at a time. Just drag them.
I did the whole thing once when we were at a class, and it worked fine.
It worked, but it took about 10 or 15 minutes, didn't it?
I don't remember. I wasn't.
Yeah, it takes a while. but all I do is just drag it on the screen and Chief will install the library. Done. So that's how I do it. And it's nice. So again, when I want to put these on a different machine, I just have my Dropbox active on that machine. It downloads them all. Worst case, you put it on a USB drive, thumb drive, and bring that to the computer. Just take and drag a bunch of them off onto the new one. And that's the easiest way to do that.
There is a button that says check this button if you don't want to see this again when you're downloading.
Yeah, I've checked that already, so it doesn't come up on mine. But if you're doing this for the first time, you'll get a little menu that it's just finished installing the library. And if you don't click the little button that's down in one of the corners here that says do this for everything, every one, I believe. And that means don't show this menu. I think it says don't show this menu again. You'll have to click that menu every time a library is done installing. So make sure you watch that little menu and click it. So that's a great way to keep your libraries organized, or on your machine. Everything's organized. Everything's there. I don't find that. I mean, yeah, when I do searches, sometimes I get a lot of things, but it doesn't slow the program down at all to have all the libraries loaded. I haven't seen any hit on performance whatsoever, other than you just get a lot of stuff. And I see that Chief is selling some of their libraries now, even to SSA users. You do have to pay for some of the libraries. Not much, $5-10, something like that. It wasn't a lot. Some of those, it looks like they put a bunch of effort into a bunch of 3D landscaping libraries, things like that. And it could very well be that they're partnering with someone else that does those libraries, and that's how they pay those people. I don't know, but I just noticed that. Okay, where are we at? Does it make sense to keep our CAD blocks in a template file?
So the previous question to that was how do you organize your wall section files so that you can use them over and over again?
I don't know. I should probably do that someday. You know, storing items in your library is the same as storing files on your computer. You're going to set it up so that you can find them. And the way you do that is, remember your right mouse button, okay? So I have a library where I keep a lot of different things. Things I use on my projects in this neck of the woods or somewhere else. So, I have a bunch of lintels that I've created, a bunch of different a couple different casings that Chief doesn't have, some coves that I use that's a little bit different. And so, yeah, just organize them by folder name. So if you have a bunch of details, just right click on the user catalog, hit new folder, just like you would do for a new plan. And here's my sections. Okay. And then I would go there, and in my sections folder, I would right click on that, hit new folder. Maybe these are my, foundation details. And that's where all of those are going to go. And so on, just foundations, walls, just organize them that way. Now, also keep in mind that you can search for items in your library by clicking here and typing something in here. So if you've added some details to this list, to your library, before you're done, right click on it and type in some search attributes for that detail. So put some search attributes in there, right click on the detail, search attributes, maybe put in there something that whenever you want to search for your foundation details, put in the word my foundation details, okay, or something like that you can remember. And then, so whenever you want to bring up all your foundation details, you just type that in the search bar up here. Okay, so if I type my foundation in that now, it should bring up just that one thing I had selected. Apparently I didn't select, I didn't hit save, I'll bet. Anyway, that's the idea how that could work. So add those search attributes to the items that you're putting in your libraries. Makes it a little easier to find. So
it takes a lot of time when you're trying to get a plan done and putting stuff in, but at least get them in the right, my bad habit is I save it in the library and I just leave it go where it's at. Right.
Yeah. You end up with a list of stuff like this.
Yeah. So where was that? So at least if it's a group of windows that I want to save in the library, save it under a Windows tab or something like that.
It'll start here in this long list of stuff, but then you can just click on it. You can either cut or copy it or just move it into the folder that you've just created. So then I could just hit paste here.
Doesn't let you scroll up really fast.
No, that's, yeah. If you're down here, it's hard to get up here to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's much easier to cut and paste or copy and paste. That's typically what I do.
Yeah. And you could hold your control key down and again select individual things that you want to do all at once to move them.
So let's try that. I put a search attribute in there, and I'm getting all the other cabinets. So maybe I put in to that detail not just the word cabinet, but my cabinet. So that way I don't get. So let's put my cabinet. Didn't that go in there? I have to say what kind of thing it is. I don't think we need to do that. Keywords. Let's check that again. So now it's there. So I do have to click on something down here. So now if I type in my cabinet, I should get that item on my list, and there it is. So you could do that with your details as well.
Cool.
With any symbol.
I learned something today, Dan.
There you go, John.
I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah. The other thing I want to show you real quick, we're about out of time. When you're in the library here, and let's say you want to stack molding. All right. So you're in Chief's catalog here, and you want to do a 3-part molding. Now you could do that now in Chief with a molding polyline. Let's say you want to have a cross section of it as well, or you want to draw it yourself. Maybe you're going to change it a little bit. So if you go to the Chief's library and you find some details in the moldings. All right, so here's a crown molding. Let's go to crown moldings right here. And I want this crown molding, and I'm going to put that along with some other moldings, okay? So what you could do with any one of these, that's CA22. So what I'm going to do here is go over here, go to CA22 and right click. And I'm going to hit place molding profile. And now I could put that profile on my floor plan. Okay, so there's that profile now. Oops, turn my line weight off here for that detail. So that's the same drawing that got imported into the library. So you could do that with anything here. So if you wanted a picture rail, again, you can't do it here. You have to go to the list. That's our PRO2, place molding profile. There's that one. Maybe I want to attach that to a board. And so I can add that back into my program. So I'm just going to add this, and so that's going to be the, that board against the wall. And this is going to be, right underneath there, or, however you want it to look. Okay. So it's going to look like that. So then I can group select that and use this tool right here. It's called Polyline Union.
Take the thing off the bottom so we can see what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Polyline Union. That's this icon right here. What Polyline Union does is it makes an outline of whatever you've selected. All right. So when I click on that, it's going to ask me if I want to keep the original. I hit delete original. I now have a shape. I would clean this up, but I can now add that to the library, put that back in my library. This is the molding I use all the time. And I can also add that to a molding profile and have that extrude in 3D around my plan. So that's how you can make moldings out of some of the shapes you see in the library. Remember, you got to click on the object and place the molding profile. And then just get them in your libraries, keep them organized, and away you go. All right, real quickly, we're not going to get much to photos. I guess the one thing I would say about photos is I do bring a lot of photos into my plans when I'm working on things. I might, this is something I was trying to get to, but I didn't quite because I spent all my time looking for the damn DWG. So when I go to, let's go to my Dropbox again, and here's my photos by year. So you can see I've been keeping photos for a long time. I've always been a big digital camera person. Now that we got our phones with cameras that are really good, don't have a camera so much anymore. But I used to organize them by year, and then I would organize by date and by event. So it's always fun to go back and look at these things. And yeah, there's my kids' PAC meeting. Anyway, so this might be a bunch of project pictures and you want to bring these into Chief. So you've got them organized nicely in your customer folder, and maybe in a folder called pictures, as-built pictures, or whatever you want to call it. But you want to bring them into your plan now. And I do this all the time. So what I'll do, so if I've got my drawing started here, and I want to put all these pictures, so I don't have to refer back to the folder all the time. I just want to put them in with the plan. So what I'm going to do is zoom in really close to a spot, because what happens when you bring a picture into Chief, when you drag a picture onto the screen, it fills the screen as much as it can. So make sure when you do this in the plan, zoom in on a spot. Okay, so I'll zoom way in, and I'll just go grab a bunch of them. So I'll grab a bunch of pictures that I want to bring in. So I'll hold my shift key down and select a group. I'll drag those onto the screen, and notice how they're coming real tiny now because I've zoomed into that spot. Now I could just pull them off of each other and rearrange them so that I've got a bunch of project pictures now of that job. Now, one thing you also want to do is be sure that you go in here, group select them, open the dialog, and hit save in plan. Because if you don't hit save in plan and you open this on a different computer, the photos won't be there. Now, if you're copying and pasting from a screen capture, which you could do here, tools, go to screen capture. You can just write from Chief and go to screen capture setup first, and make sure you hide Chief while capturing. You want to hit capture a picture. You can notice you can capture backdrops, materials, and images. And Chief will treat those as those kinds of items. But I want to do just a photo capture. I'm going to go capture. You see how Chief hides now, and I can go draw a box around what I want to capture, which might be my plot plan, might be a picture of a house from Google Street or something like that. And there it is. Chief automatically popped that into my plan. Really slick. I've been using that more and more, and I still do use my Snagit quite a bit. But once in a while, I'll just use this, and it works great. So it's just a nice way to do it. And these are already going to be saved in your plan because you're not saving a file to your computer, so they have to be saved in the plan. So you don't have to click on those.
Just a quick aside on that is if you have a PDF or a JPEG that you're bringing in and you want to get it to the right scale, let's say it's a 1/4 inch scale, it's a 4x36. You would take the 24 times 4, which is 96, and the 36 times 4, which is 144. Make yourself a square on there that's 96 by 144, and then pull your corners of the picture to that size.
That would be the sheet size. Yeah, that's one way to scale a picture. There's a bunch of different ways to do that now. All right, last thing I want to touch on really quick. How are we doing? Any questions, John? I know I've been just blasting through stuff here.
More comments about the file names and stuff, but I think everybody saw that.
Windows 10 long file name support can be enabled, which allows file names up to 32,000 characters, although you lose a few characters from end to. Okay. I assume that's in Windows somewhere. I don't think I've ever had one quite that long, but I've had some long file names, more than 200, whatever it is.
Almost a book to me, 32,000 characters.
Yeah. I think we'll Google that one.
Yeah.
How do you turn that one on? Another thing about this, Philip, if you keep all your CAD blocks in a template file, you're going to drive up that plan size. When you're working with CAD detail windows right here, and you start storing all of those details in that, you could have a whole list of different kinds of details. That's fine. I have no problem with doing that in your template to a point, because what will happen is CAD lines are the thing that drive up the file size almost more than anything. So when you have a lot of math going on with those 2D CAD lines, Chief seems to treat those with bigger file sizes. So you want to watch that. So I would encourage that you create libraries out of all your details and just keep them organized that way. And I noticed someone had a question about walls as well. So, and I would encourage that as well. You don't have to store walls in the wall list here. What you could do is create your own separate wall libraries, and then I think Chief has some in there. Bonus catalogs. I think they have some walls. Where did I see those? Wall type. Yeah, here's some walls. So you could have same thing, create walls, interior walls, exterior walls, foundation walls,
So grab
ICF walls, huh?
grabs one of those walls and start. And
yeah, all you have to do is just whenever you're ready to draw a wall, you just click on it and just start drawing. And there's that wall. And so you see how they have pony walls. So you could have pony walls with brick and stone and all sorts of different things. The thing I would encourage that you do is when you're creating those wall libraries is to only use materials from the core catalog. Unless you're for sure going to load all the libraries on every computer. See, there's that wall there. And if you are not going to store, like say that stone was not in the core catalog, and I open this on a different computer now, I might get an error message when I bring up a 3D view. It can't find that material. So I encourage just use things from the core library as much as possible when you're creating things that you're going to put in libraries. Or just be sure that when you're working with this, that you load the libraries on the computers that you're working on. So something to keep in mind. All right, we're over time. I'll just touch on this quickly because it's kind of important. You guys ever bring in DWG files into your plans?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see, what do we got? Anything else here? It's for when you fall asleep and your fingers is still on the keyboard.
That's a long file name. Do you think he's got experience with that?
Could be.
I do.
Usually I put my head down on the keyboard when I do that. That's how my file names get that long. Yep.
Yeah.
I add my details to the library and then they're available in my template. Yeah. Keep them in your library. Thanks, Dan. You bet. All right. So when you're bringing DWG files into Chief, this has to do with keeping layers organized better. All right. So whenever you bring a DWG file, and let me find the one that I was looking for before, which I never did find the right one, but I found one close enough. Give me 1 second here. So let me go to, where am I at? Finder show topics. All right, so I've got a DWG file here, and I'm going to just drag that onto my plan. Let me get to a new plan. All right, switch to that, whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to you can drag those files right on the screen. You don't have to import them. I mean, the importer starts up when you do that. Go next. I always check those two in. I don't know why, I just do. But here's,
I never do.
Oh, I don't really know what they do. I always check them, habit. But you'll notice that whenever you bring in a DWG, you're going to have a lot of layers. Okay, I've seen DWGs with hundreds of layers. And the thing that I don't like is I never bring a DWG into the plan that I'm working on because I don't want to mess up my layers in my thing. So I always bring the DWG into a blank plan. Okay, go through the settings here, import all the layers, go next. Unless it's something you just want one layer, then just do that. Bam, done. Then you can bring that right into Chief. That's no big deal. But when I want to keep the layers, which I do sometimes with plot plans and things like that, and then I'll just bring it in. It might either be feet or inches. You'll have to determine that once you import it. I think this one was feet, and then hit finish. Now what happens is it might seem like nothing happened. That sometimes because what happens is the DWG comes in way off somewhere else, different coordinate than the center of the screen. So let me just delete this stuff here. I could have just brought that into, I still got something going on down here. Yep. Notice how I'm zoomed way out and I'm just highlighting everything to delete it. Now I'm getting zoomed into that spot. What tends to happen is, so when you click on all this, and you'll see that down here, you've got the layer names down at the bottom. Okay, I'll click on something and there's the layer name, and there's the layer name, and there's the layer name. So here's what I do. I turn on my layers over here on the side. Not that, my layers. And I've got all these items turned on because I clicked the gear icon and I turned everything on except show all layers. I don't turn on show all layers. So what I do is I start going through this DWG. Remember, I'm in a new plan now. So I'm going to go through each item and I'm going to add, I like to add the word plot or something in front of the items that I want to bring into my other plan. This keeps it nicely organized. Okay, then I'm going to turn the layer off once I change the name. You see how those things go away? So then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go over here. I'll put, usually what I do is I just highlight the word and hit copy, Control C. Then I'll turn that off. So I just keep going through this until everything on the screen is turned off. Okay. When I have a blank screen, then I know I've selected all of the items that I want to bring into my new plan, and I've named them so in a way that when I go to my layers on my new plan. So let's just go into here and I'll turn on what I've just done. So let's go to I'm going to go to my all off layer set. Again, this is just keeping your layers clean. It's just like file management. So let's go turn on the layers now that I've named plot. So if I scroll down to where the P's are, you see how I can select those now? So here's where I would have all the lines I want to bring to my new plan. I'm going to turn those on, display them, click OK. There they are. I'm going to group select those, copy, and now I'm going to paste that into my plan. So I'll go back to my plan. That's where I'll paste everything, and I'll be good to go. So whenever I want to work on this, I'm all set. You just don't want to bring in all those other layer names. So when you start looking at your list of layers here, you've got all of this other crud on the list. You don't have any idea what it is. See, I've got a CTR I must have brought over that I wasn't sure. Oh, you know what? This is an old file. That's what it is. It's a file that someone did bring the old stuff in. But you see all this old stuff? I don't know what any of that stuff is. So now I would have to go through here and figure it all out. And it just takes a lot of time. So, but if I've done where did I hit copy? I don't think I hit copy. Let's go back here. Hit copy. Okay. Oops. Get out of there.
I think it's good to keep in the name of it too, which it looks like you did by keeping the capital letters of the.
Oh, I kept the original name. Yeah, no problem there.
Keeping that so that you can tell. Oh, I brought that in from a DWG.
Exactly. So now when I click here and I paste that in, how come I don't get a paste option? Thought I hit copy. Try it again. Click. Copy. Why is it not working, John? The reason it's probably not working is probably I'm selecting a camera somewhere, I'll bet. Although you can't copy cameras. You won't get the copy function. Something is not pasting.
The other day, what was it? You're right. There's something there that can't.
I don't remember. When we're out of time, so I can't dig into it right now. But anyway, that's a nice way to keep your DWGs clean. This is a file that we were working on for a project.
To find out what can't be selected, just go start turning off your layers and try to select it if you can do it.
Yeah, what's weird is it's letting me copy things.
Problem.
I wonder if, let me try something else. Maybe I'm in the wrong copy. Let me go back here and do it. Oh, there it did it. I think I'm in a 3D view here or something. Okay. Oh, I'm in a CAD detail window. I don't know. I'm somewhere where I can't paste something. Anyway, it copied and pasted fine. So there you go. So now when I open this layers with the items I've pasted in there, when I want to go find those items, I just go to the P's and there's all those items that I've just placed in the plan here. Okay. So I can control those all nice and easy.
One more thing.
Yeah.
How would you got this stuff you just copied and put in here?
Mm-hmm.
How would you get it so that the top boundary line there was parallel to the side of the house?
This?
Yep.
We're going to have to rotate the thing. So what I like to do is just, I would have obviously done this before I pasted on top of a bunch of other stuff, right. But I would rotate it so I'm getting it close.
Okay.
And then I'm going to click on a line. So if this is the line that needs to be parallel, but I got to do the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I can't do a parallel line with that. Okay, so if this is the edge of the house right here, I can't group select this and say make that line parallel to that. Chief doesn't know where to do it.
Yep.
So what I always do is I just click on the line, go to the selected line, and I go to the
Right there, it shows you 84.
angle.
Yep.
Yep. So I take that angle in minus 90 degrees. So I'm going to be, so 5.5. I got to rotate that 5.5. So I'm going to do the rotate object. And I always get this wrong. 5.5.
You don't have the whole thing selected yet.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
No, you took it off, I thought.
Oh, you're right. I did. Okay. So select everything. Now you're going to rotate everything 5.5, either minus 5.5 or 5.5. And it was minus 5.5, of course. I always get that wrong. Someday I'm going to actually learn how to do that. So you got a 50-50 chance of guessing right.
Yeah.
And minus 5.5. And you just rotate the whole bunch. Now it's parallel to the house. So that's how I do it.
Okay.
And that works fine. You could try to do it freehand, which is really, you hold your control key down and do it like that. And you might get it, but that's not the really best way to do it. All right. With that, I think we're way over today. Hit the pin button to copy. Okay. All right, you guys. Cool. I appreciate you guys being here. Chief Exerts Academy. Check it out. I got the new templates over there in the Pro Academy. Love to have you over there. I'll be also announcing a bunch of new classes coming up right after the new year. So I got, if you don't have anything to do the first 4 months of 2021, we'll fill your time with all sorts of good stuff. So looking forward to it. John, you got anything you want to add?
Well, everybody have a great weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I'll just keep looking at the picture and wishing it was 50 degrees warmer. And you can do the same. I'll say one more thing. I was thinking about our live events here recently. It's just like, we might be able to get one in end of next year. We'll see. We'll see if everything goes as everybody hopes it will.
Yeah.
So cool. John, you take care. See you, everybody. Bye now.